morning. My name is Shelton. Thank you so much for joining me for day 29, 30 days of Qigong to better health. Wow, 29. We have one more day until we wrap up this 30-day series. I'm so excited that you're joining me here today, and we're doing a great practice that's called the bone strengthening exercise. In Chinese medicine, your kidneys are the foundation for your overall vitality and how long your life will be, and is the foundation for so many of the physiological processes that happen in our life, as well as things that are in Chinese medicine that they consider it as extensions of the kidneys, like for example your brain, the pituitary hypothalamus, and your reproductive system. But also the kidneys are responsible for your ears as well as the bones themselves. So hence, as you get older, what tends to happen is that as the kidney qi declines, which it's supposed to do, as it does that, then what happens is then we start seeing a degeneration of the bones, maybe hearing loss, etc. So this practice is really good for people that are aging. This is also a really good practice to do for people that have gone through any type of severe disease or illness, like maybe the follow-up from going through chemo or radiation, where the bones and the kidneys all get affected by having to go through those techniques. Or any other type of severe disease that's kind of left you, or illness that's left you really weak afterwards, that your body really had to fight. So this practice is really good for helping to strengthen the bones, which indirectly helps to strengthen the kidneys. But also this practice is good too because, as I said before, we have issues in our tissues, and I talk a lot about how these different internal organs all house a different negative emotion, and how these emotions then can express as disease. But quite honestly, when we store negative emotions, as we found in doing the pulling out past pain meditation, that it's not only stored or affecting the internal organs, we actually store it in different tissues of the body, including the bones. So this is a good practice just in general to do every once in a while to help to cleanse and strengthen the bones and the bone marrow. Very simple practice that we're going to do. We're going to go through a normal routine of pulling down the heavens, our chi clearing exercises, center balance meditation, etc. And then what's going to happen is that I'm going to talk you through the meditation of allowing yourself to just feel the skeletal structure by itself. If you're doing these practices every day with me, at some point you should start to become more mindful of your body and actually begin to develop a knowing, feeling sensation of any aspect of that's inside your body, including the internal organs, and in this case today, the bones themselves. So you're going to imagine that the tissues melt away, and from there we just have the skeletal structure. We're going to imagine the skeletal structure turning completely black, as though demonstrating the toxicity that's been absorbed into the bones. Then we're going to inhale, pulling energy all the way up from the earth, all the way beyond the top of the head. And then as you exhale, we're going to imagine that the black energy is then pushing out, and now as the black energy pushes out the bones of the hands and such, it turns to be a light gray. So it's pushing out through the ribs, through the sternum, through the spine, and then from there all the way out through the feet, and imagine it turning a light gray color. And then from there we're going to inhale again, and then this time we're purging even deeper. So this time, as we push out the gray, now this brilliant white light illuminates from the bones as it finishes pushing out the toxicity out of the bones, out of the fingers, out of the hands, out of the legs, and deep into the ground. And we're going to repeat the practice. So then we're going to imagine the bones turning black again, inhaling all the way up through the body beyond the top of the head, exhaling, and as it pushes out the black toxicity, the skeletal structure turns a solid gray color, and then again inhaling all the way through, and then exhaling, and imagine as the gray pushes out a brilliant white. So the reason why we're repeating the cycle over and over again is because I want to get to the deeper and deeper layers of the bone structure itself and into the marrow. Okay, great practice. From your Wuji posture, or you could do this from a sitting down position, laying down position, doesn't matter. We're going to begin with our feet out about shoulders width apart and pulling down the heavens 3 times. Inhale and exhale. Inhaling, gathering the white light, exhale. Inhale, exhaling. Bring the arms up, inhale, exhale. So you're tossing a stone. Gaze into the tips of the fingers. Allow for any excess of thoughts, feelings, or emotions to flow off. Going several feet away from the body and down deep into the ground. Any tension or tightness, allow for that to flow away. And then from there, slowing down, coming back to the middle and inhaling, pulling down the heavens 3 times. Exhale. Inhale and gather. Exhale. Inhaling and exhale. And then from there, we're going to bring the feet a little bit closer together. Begin to lightly bounce on the balls of the feet, focusing on the major joints of the body. Starting with the ankles. Allow for all tension to release from the ankles deep into the ground. The knees, any tension or tightness in the knees. Allow for all that to let go as a dark cloud of energy guiding out through the feet and deep into the earth. Next, the hips, the low back, any pain, tension there. Allow for that to let go, guiding it out through the feet and down deep into the ground. Center of the back and chest, allow for that to flow down, guiding it out through the legs, out through the feet, deep into the earth. Next, the fingers, the wrists, hands, guiding out all the tension, tightness, discomfort there, and through the fingertips, down deep into the ground. Next, the elbows, the shoulders, the head and neck. All pain, tension, or tightness in these areas, guiding out through the arms, out through the fingers, and down deep into the earth. And then from there, we stop bouncing, then we inhale, rolling up on the balls of our feet, pulling the energy beyond the top of the head, then drop. And inhale up, and drop. And again, inhaling, and let go. And then stepping back into your Wuji posture, shaking the tree, inhaling all the way up the body. Exhaling all the way down, inhaling all the way up. Exhaling all the way down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. And then from there, pulling down the heavens 3 times, inhale. Gathering, exhale. Inhaling and exhaling. And then from there, gently closing the eyes, still tucking the chin, pressing up the crown point. Lightly squeeze the anal sphincter muscle and relax the body, the breath long, steady, even, deep into the lower dantian. Going into the center of balance meditation, imagine warm oil that begins to melt down through the very front, the scalp, the forehead, the temples, the eyebrows and eyes, the side of the face and ears, the nose, beneath the eyes into the cheeks, the lips, the chin and jaw structure, flowing down inch by inch, cell by cell, tissue by tissue. Into the front of the throat, the shoulders, upper chest, the biceps, relaxing into the elbows. You now visualize and feel the forearms, the wrists, the palms of the hands leading all the way out to the fingertips. And then from there, the upper chest and around the flanks of the body, through the armpits, the sides of the body, through the abdomen, the lower abdomen. So warm oil flows into the waist and through the groin, through the thighs, through the knees, through the shins, the ankles, feet and toes. And allow for this warm oil to flow down deep into the ground. And from there, feel the entire front of the body as well as the left and the right sides of the body simultaneously. And then from there, melting down through the back of the head, the ears, the neck, the shoulders, the triceps and elbows, the back of the forearms, the wrists, the hands and fingers. And from there, from the upper back through the mid back, all the way down to the low back and the waist and through the buttocks. Relaxing all the tissues as it flows into the hamstrings, the back of the knees, the calves, the ankles, the heels. And allow for that warm oil to flow down deep into the ground. And from here, feel everything in the back of the body. From head to toe, feeling as much in the front as well as to the left and to the right. And then from there, this white light from your higher source begins to travel in through the crown point at the top of the head. And you feel and visualize now the brain, the left and right hemispheres of the brain. Beneath the brain, behind the eyes, the nerves, the muscles, the sinuses, the inner ear, the muscles surrounding the mouth, the jaw, the teeth, the tongue, all the veins, capillaries, blood vessels of the face. Traveling down through each of the vertebrae. Traveling down vertebra by vertebra, cell by cell. Branching off from the neck into the shoulders. Feel the bones and muscles of the upper chest, upper back, and shoulder girdle down into the center of the biceps, triceps, into the elbows. The forearms. Feeling the small bones, tendons, ligaments of the wrists, hands, and fingers. From there, this white light touches every rib, every vertebra of the spine. Feel the ribs as they wrap around to the spine. You visualize and feel the heart, the lungs, the liver and gallbladder, the stomach and spleen, the intestines, the kidneys, the bladder, the pelvic bone, the femurs, the bones of the legs, the muscles surrounding them, the knees, the shins and calves, the ankles, traveling out through all the small bones and tendons, muscles of the feet and toes, deep into the ground. And from there, imagine your feet melted into the floor, And next, you imagine roots growing out from the bubbling well points at the bottom of the feet down to the center core of the earth. And as you inhale, you begin to feel this golden light race up the roots, up the legs, into the abdominal cavity as you inhale. And then as you exhale, releasing out any toxicity, out the legs, out the roots, and down deep into the ground. Inhaling, exhaling. Feel the golden light, feel as it comes up, and then as you drop the hands down, feel the dark, heavy energy release out the legs, out the roots, and deep into the ground. Exhale, and then from there, on the next inhalation, going directly into the microcosmic orbit. So as this energy comes up, it fills up into the dantian, passes through the perineum, and then up the tailbone, up the spine, up over the top of the head, down the front of the face, the chest, the abdomen, flowing through the lower dantian, through the perineum, and then up the tailbone like a pump, going up over the top of the head, down the front of the face, the chest, the abdomen, working with the microcosmic orbit meditation. And if you want, you could incorporate the movement of the hands, though you do not have to. But if it helps you guide the energy up the governing vessel and down the conception vessel, use whatever visualization techniques you need to use in order to accomplish that. So guiding the energy. Feel the energy, and then one more circulation through the microcosmic orbit, and then going directly into the macrocosmic orbit meditation. So this time, as the hands come down, the energy flows down through the center line of the conception vessel, flows through the dantian, through the perineum, down through the inner aspect of the legs, wrapping around the balls of the feet. And then as you inhale, flowing up the outside of the legs, up into the tailbone, up the spine, up over the top of the head, down the front of the face, the chest, the abdomen, flowing into the lower dantian, out through the perineum between the sex glands and sphincter muscle, down the aspect of the legs, around the balls of the feet, inhaling up through the outside of the legs, up the spine, up over the top of the head, down the front of the face, the chest, the abdomen. Working with the 8 extraordinary vessels of the body. Guiding it around, flowing up the spine, down through the front, out through the perineum, down the inner aspect of the legs, wrapping around behind the balls of the feet. Then as you inhale, up the outside of the legs, up through the tailbone, then up the spine, up over the top of the head, down the front of the face, the chest, the abdomen, into the lower dantian. Out through the perineum. Doing one more cycle. As the energy comes up the spine, down the front of the face, we allow for the energy to be stored into the lower dantian. And we finish by pulling down the heavens 3 times, inhaling and exhale. Inhaling, exhaling, gathering, inhale and exhale. And then from there, as you stand in your Wuji posture, breath still long, steady, even, and deep, we begin to focus on our skeletal structure from head to toe. Feel each bone of the fingers, the forearm, arm, upper arm, shoulder, collarbone. Allow the tissues to all melt away. You touch every rib, you feel every vertebra in the spine, and you feel the connection with the sacrum, the bones of the hips, the legs, the feet, all the small bones, the metatarsal bones of the feet. And then from there, as we make a strong or develop a strong connection with the bones and the skeleton, we're going to imagine as though the skeleton turns solid black. All the other tissues and muscles have melted away, and all we see is the black for the toxicity that has entered in through the bones. And then as we inhale, we're going to pull the energy up through the body, all the way beyond the top of the head. As we exhale, imagine that this black energy is then pushed out, and imagine a gray light that begins to emanate from the skeletal structure itself, going out through the hands, out through the feet, and deep into the ground. Now all you see is a color gray. The entire skeletal structure is a light gray color. Then we inhale again, pulling the energy up beyond the top of the head. This time as we exhale, pushing out the gray, like a water hose, pushing out, and then this brilliant white light of the strong, purified bone structure begins to show forth. Like nozzles, pushing out the fingers, pushing out through the ribs, through each of the vertebrae of the back, through the hips, through the legs, and push it out through the bones of the feet. Now all you see is this brilliant, glowing white light that emanates from these clean, clear, tonified skeletal structure. And then from there, turning black once again. And then as we inhale, pull the energy all the way up through the body beyond the top of the head. Then as we exhale, pushing out the dark toxicity from the bone structure. And then you imagine now as it shoots out the black toxicity, out the fingers, out the feet, that now the entire skeletal structure turns a light gray color. Then we inhale, sinking a little bit deeper, cleansing even deeper. Then as we exhale, pushing out the gray from the skeleton, out through the fingers, like a fire hose, shooting out the hands and fingers, and shooting out the legs, out through the feet and toes. And imagine now that as you stand here or as you sit, that there's a brilliant white radiating light emanating from these bones, making them stronger, thicker, building the marrow, and going even deeper with the cleansing. Imagine now, once again, the skeletal structure turns a dark black color, go beyond the top of the head as we inhale. Then as we exhale, the blackness of toxicity as we sink deeper into the different layers of the bone, then pushes out. And this time as it pushes out, you imagine that the entire skeletal structure now turns solid gray, pushing out all the black toxicity. And then as you inhale again, beyond the top of the head, this time as you push out, going even deeper into the different layers of the bones, this time pushing out the gray, and imagine this brilliant, bright light, white light, emanating from the bones themselves, showing the strength, cleaning the marrow, cleaning the bones, an extension of the kidneys out through the feet. And as you sit or stand or lie down doing this practice, you imagine this brilliant, glowing skeletal structure, strong, vibrant, rejuvenated, refreshed. 2 more cycles. Imagine the skeletal structure turns completely dark black as now we sink even deeper and deeper into the different layers of the bones. As you exhale, imagine that this gray light then begins to emanate from the bones as you push out the darkness, the toxicity, out through the ends of the fingertips, go through each of the ribs, each of the vertebrae, out through the hips, out through the femurs, out through the legs and the feet and toes, pushing out that black toxicity. And now as you stand, sit, or lie, you visualize and feel this entire skeletal structure gray. And then from there we inhale again. And pushing out, exhaling, this time pushing out the gray as the white light shines through, pushing out through the arms, out through the fingers, out through the legs, out through the toes. And you visualize your entire skeletal structure being clearer, lighter, stronger, rejuvenated, refreshed. Last one, inhale. The entire skeletal structure turns black again, entering into the bone marrow itself. And then as we exhale, pushing out this toxicity, out the bones, out the marrow, out through the ends of the fingers, the skeletal structure starts to turn gray as it continues to push out the toxicity, out the feet, out the toes. And as you view your body with your mind intent, all you see is a gray skeletal structure from head to toe. And then as you inhale, last one, exhaling, pushing out, and this time this brilliant white light shines through as the gray pushes out through the bones, through the marrow, out the fingers, out through the hips, out through the legs, strengthening the bones, out through the feet, until all you have is this brilliant white light that emanates and glows from your skeletal structure. And as you view the bones of your skeletal structure, you feel that your body, from the core, is completely refreshed, stronger, rejuvenated. Feel the bones strong, clear, light, the marrow nourishing. And just imagine that this is the state of the entire skeleton itself. An extension of the kidneys. You feel the kidneys stronger, the brain, the extraordinary organs stronger, the reproductive system, another extension of the kidneys stronger. And then from there we start to imagine all the organs coming back into place. All the muscles and fascia, connective tissue, the glands, then the skin, everything comes back to hair. Feel your body completely restored, refreshed, stronger than when you started the practice. And then from there, coming back to the present, pulling down the heavens 3 times, inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, you feel the ears opening up, another extension of the kidneys. Exhaling, hearing even the minute sounds far away. Exhaling. And then placing your hands over the lower dantian, 1 inch below the navel. Sealing off the practice with the white pearl meditation. As you inhale, imagine the white pearl forming, shining brightly underneath the hands as you gather the energy of your body. As you exhale, imagine that this white light fills up and restores the vitality of the kidneys on the low back. Inhaling, getting thicker and brighter. Exhaling, feel the warmth of the kidneys. Inhaling, and then this time as you exhale, feel not only the warmth enter into the kidneys, but this white light and warmth radiates through the entire skeletal structure from head to toe. And again, one last time, inhale. Feel the warmth, feel the white light, and then as you exhale, feel that restore the kidneys and the entire skeletal structure. And then from there, slowly open up your eyes, coming out of Uji posture, shaking out the hands a little bit. So here we go, finishing off day 29 with the bone strengthening exercise. Now after doing this exercise today, you may notice that maybe in 24 hours after going to sleep, you may notice that you have a little bit of achiness. And depending on how strong your mind intent was with the connection with this practice, that little bit of achiness is a sign that you actually did tap into the bones themselves. So this is such a simple practice to do, and you can do this over and over again. And like I said, if you have something like arthritis, or you have weakened bones, or you're getting older, or you've survived some kind of severe illness or treatments for a severe illness. This is a great practice to do because the bones end up suffering and the marrow suffers from those severe illnesses. And a lot of people ask me, they say, Chris, there's so many meditations that we're doing as we wrap up towards day 30 tomorrow. Why is there more meditations than moving practices? And my answer to that is that the moving practices are great. And we start off with the chi clearing exercises and such because movement creates healing. And so things like Tai Chi, yoga, Pilates, physical exercise like weight training and such is really good for you to incorporate that stuff in to your daily regimen as well. But the reason why we focus so much on meditation is because the meditation is much more profound. And as you've gone throughout this series here, I've introduced you to some basic principles or theory of Chinese medicine, because the practices that we do here are not meant just for relaxation. Relaxation is a byproduct. What we're out for is that every single practice, no matter how simplistic that it is meant to do something medicinally inside your body so that you can regain your health. My name is Chris Shelton. Thank you again for joining me on day 29, the 30 Days of Qigong to Better Health. I have a saying here that Qigong is a simple practice with profound results. Until tomorrow, it ain't easy being cheesy.